Imagine you are standing on the deck of a ship that will never see land again. Not because you are lost, because the shore you are trying to reach is impossible to reach. It is not simply far away. It is far away in a way your brain was never designed to understand. You look up into the endless black, and there it is. A faint smear of light, soft and peaceful, hanging silently in the darkness. It looks so close that part of you wants to reach out and touch it. But that gentle glow is not a cloud. It is not a star. It is an entire galaxy. Inside that single patch of light are billions of stars. Around those stars are trillions of planets. Countless worlds. Countless possibilities. Yet every one of them is forever beyond your reach. This is where reality becomes far more terrifying than science fiction. Even if you launched today aboard the fastest spacecraft humanity has ever built, you would die long before making any meaningful progress. Your children would die. Their children would die. Entire civilizations could rise and disappear while your ship was still crawling through the darkness. Before you completed even 1% of the journey, history itself would have repeated thousands of times. At first, none of that feels frightening. Space seems calm, silent, beautiful. The stars remain perfectly still, frozen like tiny diamonds painted across an infinite canvas. There is no wind, no sound, no ticking clock reminding you to hurry. The universe almost feels welcoming, as if it has opened its doors and invited you to explore. But that feeling is an illusion, because the light reaching your eyes is not showing you the universe as it exists today. It is showing you the universe as it existed millions, sometimes billions of years ago. Every photon has spent unimaginable lengths of time crossing the emptiness before finally arriving here, at this exact moment. That means you are not looking at the present. You are looking into history. Some of the galaxies you admire may already have changed beyond recognition. Some stars may have exploded long ago. Entire planetary systems could have vanished before the first humans ever walked the Earth. You are not exploring the universe. You are standing inside a museum of ancient light, and what waits beyond that light is even more impossible than you can imagine. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Let's imagine you refuse to give up. You decide the distance is just another engineering problem. Humanity builds the fastest spacecraft the laws of physics will ever allow. A ship capable of traveling at 99.9% the speed of light. It sounds like victory. It isn't. The nearest major galaxy to our own is Andromeda. On a clear night, it appears as nothing more than a faint blur in the sky. Peaceful, quiet, almost close enough to touch. In reality, it is roughly 2.5 million light years away. Think about what that really means. If you could somehow travel at the speed of light itself, the absolute cosmic speed limit, the journey would still take 2.5 million years. One way. Not a lifetime. Not 100 lifetimes. 2.5 million years. And that's the closest major galaxy. Most galaxies scattered across the universe are unimaginably farther away. The light entering your eyes today began its journey before humanity existed. Before dinosaurs vanished. Before Earth looked anything like the world you know. Some of those photons started traveling before our planet had even finished forming. Distance is no longer measured in kilometers. It is measured in civilizations. It is measured in geological ages. It is measured in entire chapters of cosmic history. And then you discover something even worse. Distance isn't your greatest enemy. The universe itself is. Most people imagine space as an enormous empty container where galaxies simply float around. That picture is completely wrong. Space itself is alive with motion. Every second, every minute, every year, the fabric of the universe stretches. Not because galaxies are flying through empty space like bullets, but because the space between them is literally expanding. Imagine drawing two dots on the surface of a balloon. As the balloon inflates, the dots move farther apart without moving across the rubber themselves. That's what galaxies are doing. The farther away they are, the faster that stretching carries them from us. Some are already receding so quickly that no spacecraft, no matter how advanced, could ever catch them. It's like chasing a finish line, While the road beneath your feet keeps growing longer, you don't fail because you're too slow. You fail because the destination is escaping faster than reality allows you to follow. And while you've been listening to this, the universe has already made countless more galaxies unreachable forever. And that's still not the worst part. The expansion of the universe isn't slowing down, it's speeding up. Somewhere in the fabric of reality exists something scientists call dark energy. We don't know exactly what it is. We can't see it. We can't touch it. We only know it exists because the universe behaves as if an invisible force is constantly pushing everything apart. Imagine standing on a dock as the ocean slowly carries every ship away from the shore. Now imagine that every second, the current becomes stronger, faster, more relentless. That's what the universe is doing. Every moment that passes, more galaxies cross an invisible boundary where they can never be reached again. Not because they disappeared, not because they exploded, but because space itself has stretched so much that even light can no longer close the gap. Entire galaxies are quietly vanishing from humanity's future, not destroyed, simply removed from the list of places we could ever visit. Forever. Now imagine that somehow, against every law of probability, you built a spacecraft capable of surviving the journey anyway. Forget the millions of years. Forget the expanding universe. Let's talk about the empty space between galaxies. Because empty space isn't empty at all. It is flooded with invisible radiation. High-energy particles race through the darkness from exploding stars, black holes, and violent cosmic events across the universe. On Earth, our atmosphere absorbs most of this deadly bombardment before it ever reaches us. Our magnetic field deflects countless charged particles every second without us even noticing. Out there, you have none of that protection. Every second, radiation passes through your spacecraft, through its walls, through your body, through every cell you possess. One particle may do almost nothing. A trillion particles over decades begin rewriting the chemistry of life itself. DNA breaks, cells mutate, electronics slowly fail, computers accumulate invisible damage. The universe doesn't attack you all at once. It wears you down, patiently, silently, relentlessly. And as the years become centuries, another invisible danger waits ahead. Tiny grains of interstellar dust. Each one looks harmless. Smaller than a grain of sand, smaller than a pinhead. But at a significant fraction of the speed of light, those microscopic particles become bullets with the energy of bombs. Space itself transforms into a shooting gallery, and there is nowhere to hide. Humanity already knows how dangerous tiny impacts can be. Voyager 1, the farthest spacecraft we've ever built, travels at only a tiny fraction of 1% of the speed of light. Even at that relatively slow speed, engineers account for the possibility of micrometeorites striking the spacecraft. Now, imagine traveling not thousands of kilometers per hour, but hundreds of millions. At nearly the speed of light, the rules change completely. A dust particle no larger than a grain of smoke no longer behaves like dust. It behaves like an explosion. The instant it strikes your ship, its kinetic energy is released in a violent flash of plasma. The impact can punch through shielding, vaporize metal, and send fragments tearing through everything behind it. One particle might be survivable, but the journey lasts for years, then decades, then centuries, then far longer than any civilization has ever existed. Every second is another chance for something almost invisible to end the mission forever. And somehow, it gets even worse, because eventually, even light turns against you. The universe is filled with the cosmic microwave background. It is the faint leftover heat from the Big Bang itself. Right now, it surrounds Earth in every direction, incredibly weak and completely harmless. You pass through it every moment of your life without noticing it. But when your spacecraft races through space at 99.9% of the speed of light, that harmless glow changes. The radiation ahead of you becomes compressed. Its wavelengths shrink. Its energy skyrockets. What was once a gentle whisper of ancient heat transforms into a blazing wall of high-energy radiation, crashing directly into the front of your ship. The faster you travel, the hotter the universe becomes. Your spacecraft is no longer simply moving through empty space. It is driving headfirst into the leftover fire of creation itself. The nose of your ship begins absorbing unimaginable amounts of energy. Shielding grows hotter. Electronics struggle to survive. Every protective layer is pushed closer to failure. There is no switch to turn it off. No safer route, no way around it. The universe itself has become your enemy, not through anger, not through intention, but because the laws of physics don't care whether anyone survives the journey. And even if, against every impossible odds, you somehow make it through all of this, the greatest loss is still waiting for you at the end of the voyage. Let's imagine the impossible happens. Against every law of probability, your ship survives. It outruns the radiation. It endures the dust. It withstands the expanding universe. After what feels like only a handful of years aboard your spacecraft, you finally arrive. Or at least, you think you do. Because while you were racing through space, something else was happening. Time itself was changing. This isn't science fiction. It's one of the strangest predictions Albert Einstein ever made, and it has been confirmed over and over again. Atomic clocks flown aboard aircraft tick differently from identical clocks on Earth. GPS satellites must constantly correct for these tiny differences, or your phone would lose its position within minutes. Time is not fixed. It depends on how fast you move. As your speed approaches the speed of light, time for you slows dramatically compared to everyone else. Inside your spacecraft, life feels almost normal. You eat, you sleep, you celebrate birthdays. Perhaps only 10 years pass, maybe 20. But outside your tiny metal world, millions of years race by. Entire mountain ranges rise and disappear beneath erosion. Continents drift across the planet. Species evolve. Species vanish. Ice ages come and go. Civilizations that haven't even been imagined yet rise to unimaginable heights before fading into history. All while you're simply traveling. By the time your ship finally reaches another galaxy, the Earth you left behind no longer exists. The Moon may have slowly drifted farther from Earth. The continents have completely reshaped themselves. The Sun, no longer the calm yellow star you remember, may have swollen into a massive red giant, consuming Mercury, Venus, and perhaps even Earth itself. Everything you ever called home, gone. Your family, gone. Every city ever built, gone. Every language ever spoken, gone. Even humanity may no longer exist. Perhaps it disappeared millions of years earlier. Perhaps it evolved into something so different that it no longer remembers the fragile creatures who once dreamed of reaching the stars. You left hoping to become history's greatest explorer. Instead, you became history's greatest orphan. There is no one waiting to celebrate your arrival. No voices calling your name. No home to return to. No message waiting across the darkness. You are carrying discoveries back to a civilization that vanished before your journey was even halfway complete. You crossed the universe, only to arrive in a future where everything you loved had already become ancient history. And this is the part scientists rarely say out loud. Not because it isn't true, but because the numbers are so overwhelming that they stop feeling real. Reaching another galaxy wouldn't just risk your life. It would erase the very reason you left. Every dream, every promise, every person you hoped to return to, gone long before your journey ever ended. There is no version of this story where a hero steps off the ship and is welcomed home. No parade, no celebration, no family waiting at the launch site. The universe doesn't reward courage. It doesn't care about ambition. The equations remain exactly the same whether you believe in the impossible or not. You can build a bigger engine, carry more fuel, invent stronger shields, design smarter computers. None of it changes the destination. Physics doesn't negotiate. It doesn't bend because your species is curious. It doesn't make exceptions because you want to explore. Every calculation leads back to the same conclusion. The distance is too great. The expansion is too relentless. The radiation is too deadly. Time itself becomes your enemy. Every path eventually runs into the same invisible wall. Not built by aliens, not protected by some cosmic civilization, built by the universe itself. Humanity has imagined wormholes, warp drives, hyperspace, generational ships, cryogenic sleep, artificial intelligence. Every idea pushes against the limits of known physics, searching desperately for a hidden door. But so far, every door opens onto another wall. Perhaps one day we'll discover something entirely new. Science has surprised us before, but with everything we understand today, the universe offers no obvious escape, no shortcut, no secret passage, no emergency exit leading to Andromeda. And maybe that's the real horror. Not that space is dangerous, not that galaxies are unimaginably far away, but that the universe was never designed with travelers in mind. It doesn't owe us the stars. It doesn't owe us another galaxy. It doesn't even promise that life will survive long enough to keep trying. We are tiny creatures living inside a small bubble of warmth and light, orbiting an ordinary star in one quiet corner of an unimaginably vast cosmos. Beyond that fragile bubble stretches an ocean so enormous that even light struggles to cross it. And with every passing second, that ocean grows wider, silently, patiently, forever. Maybe the greatest mystery isn't how we'll reach another galaxy. Maybe it's learning to understand just how extraordinary it is that, against impossible odds, we found ourselves alive on this tiny world at all. Stand outside on a clear night. Look up. Every star you can see, every faint cloud of light, every distant galaxy scattered across the darkness is quietly telling the same story. Not one of conquest, but of limits. For centuries, humanity believed every horizon existed to be crossed. Every mountain could be climbed. Every ocean could be sailed. Every mystery would eventually surrender to curiosity. The universe has a different answer. Some destinations exist only to remind us how small we really are. That distant glow of Andromeda has inspired generations of dreamers. It will continue shining in our skies long after every person alive today is gone. It looks close enough to touch, yet it remains forever beyond the reach of any spacecraft we know how to build. Not because we lack courage, not because we lack intelligence, because reality itself has drawn a line we cannot simply wish away. And maybe that's not a tragedy. Maybe it's a lesson. Everything we've ever loved, every laugh, every goodbye, every piece of music, every story ever written, every heartbeat in human history, happened on a single tiny world, orbiting a completely ordinary star. As far as we know, this fragile blue planet is the only place where the universe has learned to look back at itself. That makes Earth more valuable than any distant galaxy we could ever dream of reaching. Because while the cosmos stretches endlessly in every direction, home exists in exactly one place, one atmosphere, one ocean, one small world suspended in an ocean of darkness. The universe doesn't promise us another chance. It doesn't promise another Earth. It doesn't promise another civilization waiting among the stars. It simply gives us this moment, this planet, this brief window in cosmic history. Perhaps the greatest adventure isn't escaping our galaxy. Perhaps it's protecting the only home we've ever known while we still can. Because one day, long after our sun has faded and the galaxies have drifted even farther apart, the light from Earth will continue racing outward across the universe. A tiny signal, carrying proof that, for one brief moment in cosmic history, the universe was alive enough to wonder what lay beyond it. And maybe that is the closest humanity will ever come to touching another galaxy